Chapter 23. We see the victim, Ellie. We're going to have to leave him here. Come on, Maya said. I understood that she wanted to leave and wondered if perhaps she thought that I was alerting because of the dead person. Does she want to find me again? Vernon asked. I stared up at Maya, willing her to understand. Maya glanced around. Here? Everything's collapsed. It's too dangerous. Tell you what, though. It would be fun for her to chase you a little. Go up the street a little bit and call her, and I'll let her off the leash. I didn't pay attention to Vernon as he trotted away. My focus was on the person hidden in the rubble. I could smell fear, though the biting odor from the chemicals was clawing at my nose. The way I'd once felt the spray from a skunk. Maya unsnapped my leash. Ellie, what's Vernon doing? Where's he going? Hey, Ellie, look, Vernon shouted. He started to run slowly up the street. I stared after him. I wanted to chase him and play, but I had work to do. I turned back to the collapsed building. Ellie, no, Maya called. Had it been Jacob, the word no would have stopped me dead, but Maya didn't command me with the same hard tones. I dove headfirst into a narrow space next to the dead person, digging my way forward. My feet encountered a wet spill and started to sting, and the smell from the chemicals was so intense it blotted out everything else. I was reminded of playing rescue with Ethan, how I could find him in the depths by the merest whisper of his scent in the water. Choking, I tunneled ahead. Cooler air touched my face, and I squirmed through a hole and dropped into a narrow shaft. An updraft brought cleaner air into this area, though my nostrils were still aflame with the burning wet acid that had splashed on my snout. After a moment, I saw a woman huddled in the corner of the shaft, pressing a cloth to her face. Her eyes were big as they regarded me. I barked, unable to return to Maya to show. Ellie, Maya called, coughing. Get back, Maya, Vernon warned. I kept barking. Ellie, Maya shouted again, sounding closer. This time the woman heard her and started screaming back, the terror tumbling out of her. There's someone in there! Someone alive! Maya yelled. I sat patiently with the woman, feeling her fear turn to hope when a man wearing a helmet and a mask poked a flashlight into the shaft and waved the light over both of us. My eyes were watering and my nose was running, my whole face still stinging from whatever it was I'd gotten on myself. Soon the sounds of the digging and hammering reverberated through the space, and then a square of daylight broke into the shaft from above, and a man lowered himself down on a rope. The woman had obviously never practiced being lifted with a rope harness and was very afraid when the firemen tied her up and they hoisted her out. But I'd been through the maneuver several times and stepped unhesitatingly into the loops of rope when it was my turn. Maya was there at the top when they hauled me through the hole they dug in the wall, but her relief turned to alarm when she saw me. Oh my God, Ellie, your nose! We ran together to a fire truck where Maya, much to my disgust, talked one of the firefighters into giving me a bath. Well, it was more of a rinsing, cold water flowing down my face and bringing some relief to the burn on my nose. Maya and I took another chopper ride that day, and then a plane ride, and then we went to the man in the cool room, the vet, who carefully looked at my nose and put some cream on it that smelled awful but felt wonderful. What was it? Some kind of acid? The vet asked Maya. I don't know. Is she going to be okay? I felt Maya's love and concern and closed my eyes when she stroked my neck. I wish there was some way I could let her know that the pain wasn't all that bad. We'll want to watch for any signs of infection, but I don't see any reason why she shouldn't heal up just fine, he told Maya. For the next 2 weeks or so, Maya would gently rub the cream into my nose. Emma and Stella seemed to find this pretty amusing and would sit on the counter and watch. Tinkerbell, though, loved it. She came out of wherever she'd been hiding and sniffed at the cream and then rubbed her head against mine, purring. When I'd lie down, Tinkerbell would sit and smell me, her tiny little nose bobbing up and down, and she even started curling up against me to sleep. It was almost more than I could stand. I was relieved to get away from the cats and go back to work. When Maya and I got to the park, I bounded up to Wally and Belinda, who were excited to see me. I hear you are the hero dog, Ellie. Good dog. I wagged, excited to be a good dog. Wally then ran off while Belinda and Maya sat at a picnic table. So how are you and Wally doing, Maya said. I sat impatiently. If we went after him now, we could find Wally right away. He's taking me to meet his parents over the 4th, so, Belinda replied. That's good. I groaned at all this conversation. Humans were capable of so many amazing things, but too often they just sat making words, not doing anything. Down, Ellie, Maya said. I reluctantly lay down, pointedly looking off in the direction Wally had taken. After what seemed ages, Maya and I were finally allowed to find. I joyously took off, not having to slow down because she was able to keep pace with me. Wally had done an excellent job of disguising his scent. I lifted my nose, searching for any trace of him. There were few odors on the air today to distract me, but I couldn't find Wally. I coursed back and forth, returning to Maya for direction. Carefully, she worked the area, and when I didn't pick up a scent, she moved me to a new place and I tried there. What's the matter, girl? You okay, Ellie? Oddly, though the wind was coming from behind him, I actually heard Wally before I smelled him. He was walking straight toward us. I rocketed forward until my nose told me it was him, and then returned to Maya, who had already started talking to Wally, her voice a shout. We're having sort of an off day, she said. I guess so. I've never seen her fail before. Hey, Ellie, how are you doing? Wally said to me. We played a little with a stick. Tell you what, Maya, you focus her attention away from me. I'm going to go over that ridge there and double back a little. Give me about 10 minutes, Wally said. You sure? She's been out of action for a couple of weeks. Let's allow her to have an easy one. I was conscious of Wally leaving even though Maya had handed me the rubber bone and was now trying to get it away from me. I could hear him and knew he was hiding again, which made me happy. When Maya finally shouted, "Find!" I took off eagerly, heading in the direction I'd heard him go. I ran up a small hill and stopped uncertain. I didn't know how he was doing it, but somehow Wally was keeping his scent out of the air. I ran back to Maya for direction as she sent me off to my right. I snaked back and forth, searching. No Wally. Then she directed me to the left. Again, no sign of Wally. This time she had me return left and walked with me, leading me around the base of the hill. I was virtually upon Wally when I found him. He moved and I alerted. There was no need to run back because Maya was standing there. This isn't good, is it? Maya asked. The vet says she should be fully recovered by now. Well, let's give it another week, see if she gets any better, Wally said. He felt sad for some reason, so I nuzzled his hand.